may want to risk, immediately going out on the offensive, maybe more worried about yawns and just trying to stay healthy. But impactful knockoff here, that's the citrus berry gone from Loise's side. We talked about that as one of those incremental advantages in the team builder, immediately gone here.
Wow! And the Blood Moon 2 to come out. Alex just decided to go all out on the offense. But Lorsy decided to take a different approach to try to slow down this game. Both Alex's Incineroar and Ursaluna move faster than Lorsy's, and so real good confirmation of how these Pokemon are trained. Lorsy's Ursaluna still has yet to move, but I feel like the damage has already been done. You've taken a huge Blood Moon, and you're trying to still slow things down, but your Pokemon are already pretty low.
They're low, but an Ursaluna that's low can really come back quickly. With leftovers and grassy terrain, early damage on Ursaluna doesn't always pay off if you're not able to capitalize on it immediately. And one of the things that normally blocks you from capitalizing it on it immediately on the other side. Now, if you want to swing out again with that Ursaluna on the next turn, it's just going to fall asleep. So most likely it's switching. Between the -1 special attack and the yawn on it, you expect Ursaluna to switch. That means only Incineroar's on the field, but it's been intimidated, so it's not a huge damage threat into the Ursaluna on the other side, so probably there's no KO available in the Ursaluna on the other side. And if you worry too much about Lorsy's Ursaluna, you're ignoring the Golden Go. It's probably the bigger problem here. So for now, Ursaluna takes a bunch of damage, but probably has the opportunity to start trying to regain that health and start throwing out damage of its own. Didn't opt for the Blood Moon on turn 1, but can go out for big damage one way or another here on turn 2.
And as you predicted, that Ursaluna is going to take a reprieve, as we will see a third Pokemon revealed here for Alex, and it's going to be his own Golden Go. So we've already seen both of our players match those leads, as well as, so far, what has been in the back, as Lorsy's Incineroar makes a reappearance. Nice Intimidate drop onto Alex's Incineroar, and maybe that will help out a little bit to try to soften up some of this damage, but Lorsy isn't even going to try to take that risk. Golden Go protects itself in a lot of fear of what this Incineroar is capable of.
Right, protects itself despite the Incineroar on the other side being -2, and kind of doesn't get much out of that negative momentum turn that Alex had. Right? Alex forced to switch to Ursaluna there, has a -2 Incineroar, but gets away with it free, right? They both just end up with Golden Go and Incineroar on the field, and the only advantage being, fake out available for Lorsy and -2 attack with the Incineroar on the other side, but the Golden Go's on even footing up against each other. We haven't seen the Golden Go's on the field at the same time as each other yet, so we haven't learned about their speed relationship, something we talked before the match. Could be really impactful if one of these Golden Go's can consistently swing out before the other. We also talked about the terrestrialization options. Both players opted for electric terrestrialization on Ursaluna in game 1, but when you see two Golden Go's facing each other down, you're often very tempted to quickly press that button, keep your own Golden Go safe. You can't afford to take a Shadow Ball, you can't afford to take a Flare Blitz or a knockoff. So yeah, at least one Golden Go going to become a water type here.
The water terrestrialization is available on both of these Golden Go, but if they both end up going for terrestrialization, that might actually help us kind of identify some of these speed interactions. But it's just going to be Lorsy's that decides to use that terrestrialization. But Alex's still moves first. So Lorsy's Golden Go has to take a huge Shadow Ball, which chucks it down to below half of its HP. One on the return though, and that is going to be a super effective hit and basically a one-hit knockout onto Alex's Golden Go. That's a really big Pokemon to get knocked out right away.
It's a big trade, but the fact that the Golden Go on the other side was able to land the Shadow Ball first means that the Golden Go on Lorsy's side is still quite low, and Alex didn't have to spend his terrestrialization to make this happen. That means he still has available for that really impactful electric terrestrialization on Ursaluna. And part of the reason that Lorsy doesn't need to prioritize that is that his own Ursaluna is already quite low. You probably don't want to spend resources on a defensive terrestrialization on a Pokemon already sitting at 35% health. But Alex has preserved his Ursaluna. It took the parting shot, took the yawn, but got off the field and back on the field. All of that is gone. All of that is in the past now. And Ursaluna still has terrestrialization available, meaning it's not hugely threatened by this Golden Go on the other side. Golden Go now so low that it has to be worried about either Ursaluna. Probably not at this point worried about the Incineroar. If it's at -2 attack, you become a water type. But if Incineroar were to leave the field and come back in, you have to be worried about knockoff. And again, just being a KO despite being a water type.
It's just so tough when this Incineroar is packing all of these different tools, because I think even seeing how valuable the parting shots have been, that's something that can also help you make sure that you can pivot out this Incineroar, get it safely back in. Lorsy's not even going to take that chance, he decides to just make a manual switch, bringing this Rillaboom in and revealing as his 4th Pokemon in game number 2. Sets up the Grassy Surge. That's going to be nice to have that terrain active, but as you called out, Alex still has this terrestrialization available, so that super effective damage into that Ursaluna has been taken away. This Electric Terra, a perfect choice for this full HP Ursaluna.
Ursaluna feels like it's going to have a dominating impact on the rest of this match. That's going to start with taking very little from this Make It Rain, now resisting it as an electric type.
And Golden Go is now so low. Not only is it going to drop its special attack, but also takes a little bit of recoil from that Life Orb. And Rillaboom has to take a Flare Blitz as it switches in. It's going to be below half HP as well, as Ursaluna follows up with that Earth Power. Ooh, Lorcy's Golden Go isn't able to stick around for one more turn, but it's looking very tight. All of the Pokemon on Lorcy's side of the field are very low.
Right, I think a really smart turn from Alex. So recognizes that if he can use the electric terrestrialization, he's not immediately threatened by the Golden Go on the other side. He's never had a chance to Nasty Plot because he had to fight the Golden Go down. And if you throw both an Earth Power and a Flare Blitz into the slot that was an Incineroar, the Incineroar can't protect itself. So you're hitting one of three things with that combination of attacks. We saw it hit the Rillaboom and do really significant damage there. If it had been the Ursaluna, that would have been a KO. If it had been the Incineroar, it would have been even more significant damage with a super effective Earth Power. So one way or another, you're getting massive damage out of that turn, and you're continuing to get chipped down these Pokemon. And that's so impactful when you're trying to lean on this bulky Ursaluna. You want to just keep spreading damage, get the most value damage out of every turn so that Ursaluna can start slowly closing these KOs. And you can see how little the damage back to Ursaluna was. You know, the Make It Rain looked like a decent amount at first, but then after leftovers and Grassy Train, it's getting healthier. Golden Go now at -1 special attack will do even less damage on the next turn. It will be a Shadow Ball still. We saw the Shadow Ball in the last game, it's significant damage, but that was neutral. This is -1, so it's a little bit less.
But it still looks like it might be able to get a knockout with a double up. But oh, it's going to be the high horsepower hitting the mark. So Ursaluna just gets knocked out to that double up. So Alex also now down two really big offensive threats. The Golden Go and the Blood Moon Ursaluna both KO'd and out of this game. With this parting shot, we get that attack drop onto the Rillaboom, but more critically for Lorcy, he gets to see what that fourth and final Pokemon is. If it's the Ninetales, he might be in trouble here.
The Ninetales might have a hard time closing damage against the rest of these Pokemon. You know, the Ursaluna as an ally for Ninetales means that Ninetales can focus more on, lowering speeds, helping you deal with the Incineroar in the back that way. But now with Ursaluna gone, you're looking at the Ninetales and the Incineroar to do all of the damage against multiple Pokemon. Golden Go as a water type will, need to take more than one Blizzard. The Incineroar in the back still relatively healthy. It's going to need to take a lot of attacks. Alex takes a big risk there. Protect was available on the Ursaluna. It could have just protected itself, gotten the parting shot to lower the damage from the other side, maybe reset Intimidate for a future turn, but tries to just swing with Ursaluna. Maybe thinks that the Make It Rain drop in the Golden Go has incentivized Lorcy to switch it out and wants to be a little bit ahead of that situation and not protecting and taking a passive turn while Lorcy repositions, but it pays an enormous cost for it by losing Ursaluna. Felt like the key piece to close out this game, and it was gone so quickly.
Looks like that Protect might come back to bite Alex, but the job is still not done. Lorcy is able to bring in this Incineroar and get a pretty critical attack drop onto Alex's own Incineroar, as Lorcy finally decides to play a little bit more safe. Goes for Protect on his own Golden Go to deny some of this damage coming through from Blizzard and also get a little bit of that Grassy Terrain recovery. The Ninetales can still do some impactful things in this game, especially if you are able to get a Blizzard Freeze. The knockoff doesn't do a whole lot because Lorcy actually lost that Citrus Berry already from a knockoff earlier on in the second game, but it's still some amount of chip damage. And imagine if that had actually been the Rillaboom and you remove the Assault Vest there.
Right, but that's why Incineroar comes in, takes these attacks so well, stands up against these Pokemon so well. It's going to have plenty of time on the field to really do whatever it would like. Fake out pressure is impactful on this turn. You're either faking out Ninetales to break Focus Sash, maybe only temporarily if Grassy Terrain can recover it quickly, but maybe also important, you can fake out Incineroar to protect Golden Go for another turn. Let it continue to get healthier and healthier.
Ninetales does go for Protect, and so that is going to keep that Focus Sash nice and healthy to get this Ninetales another turn in the game. But with a fake out into Alex's Incineroar, Lugo's able to follow that up with a Make It Rain. And so that's a lot of damage that Alex's Incineroar is going to have to take. But of course, because it's a resisted hit, it still takes that quite well. And Golden Go is going to continue to drop its special attack. It means that all of these attacks into the Ninetales even might not do as much damage as Lorcy would like. He still has a Pokemon to play around with though in the back to shed those special attack drops.
Yeah, the -1 special attack means it doesn't do much damage to Incineroar. Ninetales though would still easily go down to Focus Sash. 4 times super effective Make It Rain. We don't have to worry too much.
Oh, so true about that.
About how much damage that will do. Lorsi again taking a pretty safe turn there. If Ninetales does not protect itself, it takes a Make It Rain on that turn. Can't deny it on its own, and so you expect it to protect itself from Fake Out from Make It Rain, so you just get some safe damage with Make It Rain plus Fake Out into Incineroar. You're expecting that if you're going to win this, it's going to be a long, drawn-out thing. Ninetales, though, needs to protect itself once to not take a Make It Rain, but it's not a Make It Rain anyway. Just Golden Go protecting itself.
So maybe that was a missed opportunity for Alex to actually try to get some damage as he tried to protect the Ninetales and go for the knockoff into Lorsi's Golden Go. Leaves this Ninetales vulnerable to have to take this Flare Blitz, and that brings it down to its focus chest as well. So this Ninetales on borrowed time as it only has that 1 HP remaining. Lorsi still has 4 Pokemon to work with. Feels like this is wrapped up.
Yeah, it feels like Lorsi continues to get further and further ahead. Now, of course, Ninetales vulnerable to Grassy Glide. In the future, the Incineroar may have problems with the Ursaluna that's probably still bulky enough to take a hit. And so it seems like Lorsi should be able to close this out. Alex had the opportunity to encore Incineroar there. Could have just locked it into Fake Out, but was more worried about, you know, the Golden Go going out with Make It Rain while Incineroar attacked. And so tries to double protect the Ninetales and pays a big cost for it. It feels like he was already quite far behind in this game because it was difficult to see how he was going to find the damage against all of these Pokemon anyway, with Fake Out remaining, with Ursaluna remaining. But really after that last turn of giving up that massive damage into Ninetales at a very low cost, the path is that much harder.
This Incineroar, like, you're kind of hoping if you're Alex that it's still able to secure a couple of knockouts here, but it's just such an uphill battle, especially because this Golden Go is continuing to chip away at it, and there's going to even be a follow-up attack from Lorsi's own Incineroar. But the knockoff first, you finally get a KO here in the second game onto this Golden Go, but it stayed on the field for so long, and all of that damage just continued to add up over time. Lorsi still has that Ursaluna and the Rillaboom in the back, and this final Flare Blitz here from this Incineroar is going to be able to knock it out for good. 1 HP, Ninetales, and a dream here, as Alex is going to have to start thinking about this Game 3 with Lorsi.
This game felt like it hinged on 2 really significant moments. The first were when the two Golden Goes were staring each other down. Alex doesn't spin Terrestrialization and gives up his own Golden Go. And we saw it work for him in Game 1. Gave up Golden Go in a trade and made it happen, made it work later. And it felt like he was on the path to do that because his Ursaluna had the Terrestrialization, felt like it was going to provide so much pressure. But then the second moment where the game hinged was when Ursaluna just went down to that double up of the Shadow Ball and the high horsepower, and Alex lost that key piece and then just didn't have the damage, right? Was stuck with 2 Pokemon on the field, no ability to pivot. Incineroar, again, no real way to do damage to the Incineroar on the other side. And so then we just had several turns for Lorsi to very safely kind of close it out by mounting damage, not giving over Grassy, trying to let the Incineroar on the other side start healing, just kind of slowly dealing with those Pokemon. I think for Alex, you have to decide which trades you're able to take and maybe play a little bit safer with some of the Pokemon. You know, in Game 1, he gave up the Golden Go. It was very safe with your Ursaluna, never gave it up. In Game 2, gave up the Golden Go, but then was risky with your Ursaluna.
I want to just call out this play here because Lorsi locked into this as just a very safe option. The Fake Out into the Ninetales is actually going to side parting shot off of his own Rillaboom in case there was a Protect that came through. It just gives you the pivot. And I think it's really funny, even though we're seeing both players stall out this game just to give themselves some time to think about what to do in that game number 3. I just thought that was a really cute little interaction with the side parting shot.
Just making it happen, eventually trying to find the safest path. Ninetales really has no way through this. It would have to somehow stall all of the Grassy terrain and then stare down at Ursaluna that by that point would be at full health. So.
Yeah. But hey, if there's a will, there's a way sometimes. And when you do end up... Oh, goodness, Lorsi. Don't Blood Moon your own Rillaboom, please.
I think the lead is such that even if the Blood Moon is in Rillaboom, it probably works out with its Super in the back. Both players started to the same 4 Pokemon as Game 1. You know, the Ninetales, we saw how impactful it was in Game 1 for Alex, and we talked about the reasons that Lorsi's Ninetales doesn't have quite the same impact, and Rillaboom feels like it's having a pretty good impact here. The Grassy Glides are consistently friendly.
But no double protect this time for the Ninetales. It's just going to fall with the Grassy Glide, and we will see Lorsi take this game to tie up the series. And it's going to be another Game 3 to decide it all. Which player between Lorsi and Alex will move on to our top cut to join Leonard Craft III.
Such a close set. It feels like it hinges on a few different moments. We see consistently the speed advantage for Alex. The Golden Go moving first, the Ursaluna moving first, the Incineroar moving first. And so that comes at a cost, though. It comes at a cost of bulk. It means that things like that double up into Ursaluna that probably wouldn't have worked against Lorsi's or Ursaluna, but it works against Alex's because it's been trained more in speed than in ball. And so that key KO, taking the Ursaluna off the field, swings things so quickly.
Yeah, that was such a difficult turn to watch, you know? With that protect available, I kind of thought maybe Alex would just try to fade that out and get a little bit more damage down, and then just wasn't able to do that. So I think Lorsi really taking an inch and turning it into a mile in this second game, and maybe he's able to do the same in this third game. But Alex already found success in the very first game of this set, and like, just to remind people of how that went, even though he gave up that golden go, he was able to still leverage his own Blood Moon or Saluna to finish the job.
Right, he gave up his own golden goal, but traded it for most of the Ursaluna on the other side, and then felt like Blizzard was kind of oppressive at that point, because Ursaluna was stuck on the field in this negative momentum situation where it was threatened by Blizzard, had to leave the field, and just kept mounting damage slowly but surely across the board. You know, I'm sure Alex would love to make the same thing happen again, but it has to start with getting, you know, really big damage in the right places. The other key thing is that the Incineroar when Ninetales is brought on Alex's side, the damage in the Incineroar is actually fairly little, right? Golden Go and Incineroar and Ninetales all do very little damage into Incineroar, so you've got to land the Earth Powers. In game 1, Alex landed 2 Earth Powers into Incineroar. Now, part of that might be that Lorsi was surprised in game 1 by the speed relationships of Incineroar and Ursaluna, and so took the first Earth Power not quite realizing what he was doing. And now that information's been revealed, so it's going to be a little bit harder to find that Earth Power into Incineroar. But already, we see a big adjustment. Ninetales on the field for the first time in the game for Lorsi. And like we talked about, with Lorsi's Ninetales set, it's more impactful early on in the game, so having it led here means that it can threaten Aurora Veil, can threaten Terra Blast into Incineroar to get damage off. Just try to kind of start putting holes in, and then we get to see what Lorsi left behind in order to get this Ninetales brought in game 3.
The Blizzard is going to be super important here too, I think, for a lot of that pressure onto the Ursaluna, and I wonder how Alex will actually respond to this. Because we saw Lorsi actually just go ahead and opt for Protect on the Ninetales, but do you really terrestrialize the Ursaluna here, or do you remove it?
Well, we know that Alex's Incineroar is faster, and that both players will know that as well. So Alex has the fake up pressure into Ninetales if he wants it on this turn, so probably not immediately forced to terrestrialize. Interesting, we do see the Rillaboom come out of the back, and so it's not that left behind for Ninetales. It's going to be one of Ursaluna or Golden Go, that's your Pokemon that felt most key so far.
And that's going to be really risky, because then you're really putting a lot more pressure onto this Ninetales to actually accomplish something. Oh, fake out into the Rillaboom as the Earth Power as well is going to follow that up, and Lorsi actually gets a really great safe switch here with the Rillaboom coming in.
Yeah, you can see the prioritization from Alex. We know that the Earth Power's entrance are going to be crucial, and we're going to be harder to find. And so Alex immediately looks for one. Tries to just get a fake out to stop the Incineroar from getting, fake outing the Ursaluna on the other side. Make sure that you can try to land that combination of fake out plus Earth Power